What's happening, everybody? My name is Charles Blades, and this is the Current Gaming Podcast. Today, I am joined by Cheyenne. Clark, how is it going?
Hello.
My cool co-host, David Morgan.
What's going on, man?
And special guest, my girlfriend, other Cheyenne, that I always mess up this Cheyenne's last name with, Cheyenne Lewis. Hi.
Hi. Hey.
Lewis and Clark today.
For the first segment, we're going to have to go to Aaron for a BB update. This is gonna go well if he answers, and not if he does not.
Not gonna answer his phone. He's playing Destiny.
Hey, are you busy right now?
I mean, I'm eating. Why? What's up?
You're on the Current Gaming Podcast, so I want to talk to you about this double eviction.
What the fuck? All right, what's up?
Paul's in the final two no matter what, right? Like, how can he lose?
At least final three, just because he's got everybody fucking brainwashed.
Yeah, it's like the Alex move putting up Kevin and Raven was literally, that was one of the dumbest moves I've ever seen, Big Brother.
When she got HOH, I thought for sure she was gonna put Paul up and like see through his shit, and then she's like, "Nah, I'm gonna put up the only people that had nothing to do with this."
It was so bad. Like, at least put up Josh and Christmas, because those are the two that literally, you know for a fact, Josh was sitting there saying he did it, and you watched Christmas vote out Jason. It made no sense.
Yeah, it was stupid. And Josh is all worried about how he's gonna have blood on his hands. Well, too bad it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter because they don't even fucking care.
Yeah.
It's so frustrating. All right, thank you. Have a good day.
Yeah, no problem.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, so that was our BB update with Aaron Weeks. We got a cool show for you today. We're gonna be talking about LA Noire, South Park, some CS:GO drama. But first, we're gonna start with a bit of a smaller story, but the one that I think speaks a lot to like how the Switch is gonna go going forward. It's about FIFA and FIFA's game modes in the Nintendo Switch. FIFA producer Andrei Lazarescu. Nah. You try it, David. Andrei
Hang on, let me find his name.
The
in this
FIFA
article.
18 producer gave an interview with Eurogamer talking about the modes that are going to be in this year's FIFA. And basically what they're doing is they're cutting out all of the Ultimate Team modes and all of the Journey story mode, basically, in the game, which is the Journey mode more so than the Ultimate Team modes is like interactive, like cutscene driven kind of story mode thing in it. And then Ultimate Team is another thing. And these are two... Cold. Not that you guys care at all, but these are two huge, like, this... Alright, so basically in FIFA, there is playing the game like normal with seasons. Mm-hmm. Then there is Ultimate Team, and then there is the Journey. There are 3 big modes. And then there's, like, co-op stuff. So 4. I would say 4. Okay. So half of them are not going to be in the Switch version.
Half.
And so his quote would be, for the story, says, if you look at the history of the Ultimate Team on the likes of Sony and Microsoft, I think it's a 7-year history, if I recall correctly. If you throw everything from the get-go at a completely new player base, you might not get the desired result. And this is kind of their reasoning for not...
oh my god!
Not putting these modes on the Switch version, and as you can see, David, I don't think is really buying
That's
it.
the worst response I've ever heard to this. It's a new player base, so they're gonna pay the same amount of money for less content because we don't want to scare them with big scary options of how to play the game where they're too stupid on the Switch. You know those Nintendo kids. What's the reasoning here? Say that the hardware
doesn't run it.
Yeah, just say that. Like, holy shit, do they not want to scare off? I guess I appreciate that they're not trying to scare off other developers that might look at this as like, well, we're not going to port our game to the Switch because EA can't even get FIFA to run on there. Or he doesn't want their other divisions to think that or something. But this is just a failure of development. This is just them not utilizing it. And I understand the Switch is a weaker system than obviously PS4 or Xbox. But dude, god damn, you got to say something else. That's a bad call.
Cheyenne, you're in the same boat.
Yeah, I mean, literally all he had to say is like, we can't do all of those things on the Switch for hardware reasons or whatever. Like, you don't have to be like, we don't think that this player base, since they don't have the same history with these modes, we don't think they need them, basically. Like,
This is
like
kind of a
calling
slap in
out
the face.
the people that are about to buy your game.
Yeah,
to the
you same
consumer.
thoughts. I know you're a big FIFA fan.
Oh yeah, I love.
Yeah. I just think that it doesn't make any sense that they're like, oh, these players won't play it when there's a ton of Switches in the wild and it's a lot of overlap between PlayStation players and Xbox players. So, do you think that it would be like fine if they reduce the price for FIFA though? Would that?
Yeah, I mean that's what
save
That's what I was
they
about
are.
to say.
It
Like,
should
make
be
it $40.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Or like the shittier thing is, somebody has like me on Echo. Like I
I hear it. It's not me. I hear it.
It might be me.
It's Cheyenne.
But I did turn my volume down, so I don't know what to do about that.
I don't know either. But I can't. I literally.
You gotta stop it, Cheyenne. You
can't
gotta
stop
turn it off.
What am I supposed to
I don't
do?
know what to do.
Literally,
I
my
just
volume
can't
is
talk.
all the way down.
I can hear it as well. It's fucking me up. Let me make sure.
Um,
Beautiful shot of my finger there.
Do we want to try again? No.
We cutting this?
All right, I'm
What?
cutting it. And we're back. All right. So yeah, the Switch version, like what I was saying, is it should be maybe like $40, but also the NBA 2K version that they're having on Switch not only has a full feature complete set of everything that is on the PS4 and Xbox One version, but they also have like bonus like Switch modes and stuff like that. So like it's not like it's just shit. It's just
Let me level with you. This is what I think. If
Bring it
you're a hardcore FIFA fan, like you love FIFA, you want the definitive edition of the game, you're not gonna buy a gimped version on this. You're not gonna buy this on Switch, right?
To be fair, I was never gonna buy it on Switch. The only way I would have bought it on Switch is if the Switch version like somehow spoke with the PS4 version. Like if there was like an EA account system or something like that, where like all my wins carried over to the Switch version.
Okay.
But
what I'm saying is
Nintendo's never gonna do that because they want you to think of it as a home console and not a portable.
Yeah, no, of course. What I'm saying though is, if EA is so worried about alienating this new audience to FIFA, instead of trying to kind of beat around the bush here, why not? We've said this before. Why not make a new version of a FIFA game, a standalone Switch FIFA game, like a NBA? Like what the fuck are those old like football games where it's like fucking crazy
NBA
and you're like.
Street, or
Yeah, like a
Street.
street like kind of style, like
FIFA
fun, crazy like FIFA game for the Switch that runs on the Switch exclusively, and it works well, and it brings in a new audience, and then maybe they go check out FIFA, 18 on their PS4 or Xbox, because like the core audience is going to stick with those consoles because that's the definitive edition of the game. If you want a new audience, appeal to them. Don't just give them a trimmed down version of the game that everybody's already played.
It's the like feedback loop where like no one bought it. Well, no one bought it because
exactly. If they're using this to gauge interest, that's fucking bullshit.
And then, but then the other thing, the thing that is more likely is just like Mario Strikers is going to come out on Switch, and that's like the soccer game people are going to play. Like that, that is like that's like sorry. All right, yeah. So yeah, hopefully this isn't a model with third party and AAA developers follow in the future, because we've seen with Ubisoft, if you have the ability to make a cool exclusive game on Switch, it will like get praised, and it will like people will buy it. Like I wouldn't be surprised.
How did that sell?
Do
we have any numbers on that yet?
We don't have any MPD.
I'm
yet,
sure,
but I'm sure it's sold
okay.
well. We'll have that to you next week on the Current Gaming Podcast. The camera's right there. I acted like I had 3 cameras in the studio.
Not that fancy.
Yeah, I like looked over there for no reason. This next story we have is about Rockstar bringing LA Noire remastered to PS4, Xbox One, and the Nintendo Switch with higher resolution textures and new camera angles and stuff like that. There's not much more to say. Yeah, there's like PS4 and Xbox or PS4 Pro and Xbox One X improvements. Blah blah blah. Who the fuck saw this coming?
Nobody, but who the fuck wanted it?
Yeah, I don't know. Cheyenne, one of the Cheyennes, you want to take this?
I mean, I would probably play it. I bought it on PC like forever ago when it came out, and I
It's
just
on
never
PC?
ended up playing with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I bought it forever ago, and for some reason just never played it. So like, I'd be interested in playing it. Like, it is kind of like out of nowhere. It doesn't seem like a popular enough game to like remaster it, but I'd be interested.
Do you think anybody? I guess I'll go to you. Do you think this is a way for Rockstar to gauge interest in maybe bringing over like either the old GTA games or GTA 5 or GTA 4 or something like that?
I don't think that this is the game to do that with, because like I don't remember this game. I never played this game. I never picked it up. I have no interest in like a remaster, but So like, I don't think that would be, if they wanted to gauge interest, why wouldn't they just bring Grand Theft Auto?
Do you think the right game, David, that could have appropriately do you think the right game that could have appropriately gauged interest in the GTA franchise on the Switch would have been Rockstar's Table Tennis?
Rockstar's Table Tennis? Oh, fuck, I forgot about that game. That game's supposed to be awesome.
Game's
Yeah.
fantastic.
No, I think what they should have done, and I know it's like impossible because apparently the coding is like spaghetti and band-aids, is
Red Dead.
Red Dead.
Yeah.
Red Dead Redemption. But the it's so fucked, like it barely runs. It's like put together with like, you know, wood glue. Like
Pins and needles.
It's terrible
Mhm.
to port, and that's why they've never released it on PC. LA Noire I did not see coming, but like I don't fucking care because that game is boring as shit. It is so boring. You literally walk around and look at shit. It's like the most uninteresting parts of like Heavy Rain, but the whole game is that.
Yeah.
And it's funny sometimes because like the facial actors
facial
like go like
animations are,
bananas.
Too crazy, yeah.
Like for I guess to make it accessible, but like, yeah, we're not all the guy from fucking Lie to Me, but
Yeah.
it goes like really hard on those.
Yeah, I think
I'm not gonna
that
pick
was
it
like
up.
a circumstance of like they had this tech and they were trying to use.
They
it
wanted
as
to really like
much
drive
as
it
they
home.
can, yeah.
It's really funny. I remember the only thing I remember from that game is the lady that you call on the phone at the phone booth, and she sounded really funny, like the fat old lady that's like, "Hello, we'll get a car out to you," like some shit like that. I don't remember that game. I never beat it. Did you even play it, TJ?
I played it. Well, I didn't play it. I've seen other people. Like I played it with friends, like kind of situation. You know what I'm saying? I think Jake had it at one point. And we
Yeah,
played it
he
together.
liked it a lot. I think.
But we I think this is a big quote unquote deal because like LA Noire, for like how not great a game it is like technically like impressive. I think to a certain degree, it is an open world sort of kind of thing, and it does have like all the facial animations and stuff we talked about. And for them to bring something like that on Switch shows that games of that caliber from our last generation or with like kind of specs from last generation can run on the Switch. If you're willing to put the time and effort behind it. So maybe we see. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw GTA. At least GTA now. Well, 4 maybe, but GTA 3, Vice City, and San Andreas on Switch.
The Switch makes the most sense
like iPad.
As the port machine. Everybody wants to port everything from the PS3 to the PS4, remaster, all that shit. But the Switch makes sense because it's bringing something new. You can take it. Yeah, you can take it places. So the Switch, I would love to see a bunch of like older games kind of, you know, polished up and thrown
I
on
would
there
love to see, specifically, we're talking about open world games, like open world RPGs would be great on the Switch because those are perfect games to where you can like shut your mind off, watch TV, and be playing the Switch at the same time.
Got Skyrim coming. There's
Skyrim,
one.
Yeah, but Skyrim...
You don't like Skyrim?
Next story is about Destiny 2. We're going to be talking about our experiences and stuff with Destiny 2 later on, but the biggest thing about Destiny 2 is, not the biggest thing I guess, the big controversy around Destiny 2 is about its shaders and the Eververse, its in-game microtransaction store, where basically the way it works is that shaders in the game, as opposed to Destiny 1, are now consumable items, which means that in Destiny 1, you got a shader, and it would just shade your whole body. But now in Destiny 2, you get a shader, and you can shade specific parts of your body, which is actually really cool. But, so, like, in Destiny 1, you would buy a shader, and that was, like, your whole thing. Now you can, like, shade your headpiece blue, and your chest piece green, and whatever, and so forth.
Which is great.
But they're now consumable, which means that you don't have them forever. And in a game like Destiny, where you're constantly getting new loot and all that, it makes it so that either, number one, you're using them and wasting them on gear you're going to throw away in 20 minutes, or you're stockpiling them and you're kind of always scared to use them because you never know when you're going to get a better gun or something like that, which I think is the case for most people. It definitely is, I will throw this in Bungie's court, it definitely is a lot bigger deal early on in the game because, like, from levels 1 through 20 and then even a little bit after 20, you're redoing loot like at like every 20 minutes, something like that. Whereas when you start getting better guns, like, they don't drop as frequently, so you have more time with guns and you get to be more familiar with them. So, like, it won't be as big a deal, which is why I think it's like popping off now, because it especially hurts players that aren't like level 20 and above. So, like, literally everybody right now. Well, not everybody, but most people. So let's just starting off. How do you guys feel about this? What are your immediate thoughts, David?
I'm gonna scream. It makes me so fucking mad. and I don't get it, but I look like a fucking clown. I am a walking disaster in that game, and I want to fucking end my life because cosmetics are so important to me in games. And you know this. Like Rocket League and shit, I spend hours trading to get my car looking fucking fresh, and I can't do that in Destiny 2 because I stockpile all these shaders and I've got like 3 of them, and I got 5 pieces of gear, so I can't dye my whole outfit, so I look like a fucking idiot walking around with like silver pants and green chest piece, and I'm fucking over it. I hate it. Everybody was like, oh, you'll get plenty of them at 20. Yeah, you do, but you don't get any of the same ones, so I've got 2 of like 15 sets right now, and I can't mix and match them without looking like a fucking idiot. And it's just like, why break it? Why change it from the permanence to this? And it's to sell things on the Eververse mildly. Like they won't say that, and it doesn't make much sense to buy them there because you're only getting what 2 or 3 at a time.
You're getting 2 or 3 at a time, and it's like a random like RNG loot box. So like
right, it's like a different one each time.
You don't know exactly what you're getting. So the Bungie's director Luke Smith on Twitter did say shaders are earned through gameplay, leveling chests, and grams vendors. We expect you to be flush with shaders as you continue to play, and when you reach level 20, shaders will drop more often. Vendor rewards, destination play, and endgame activities. Shaders are now an ongoing reward for playing. Customization will inspire gameplay. Each planet has their own unique armor and shader rewards, which is what you were referring to. Like, you didn't get the old shaders because maybe you ran a bunch of missions on Earth early game, and now you're doing a bunch of missions on Io, which has different shaders on it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And you want people to run trials, raids, and Titan, and run trials and raids and Titan, and go back to Titan to get more of its shaders. Which is like, yes, that is cool if you think about it. If like you do the raid and you get 5 red shaders and you have this bloody outfit, but I mean that is cool like in theory. But the problem is like, how often are you running the raid? Like, yeah, that's cool for like high level people, but like if you just want to show that you ran the raid once, you can't really like deck out a full armor suit hypothetically because like they do drop in like 3 to 5. So like technically, if you got a 5 one, you could maybe fill out a whole armor suit, but I don't know.
Like, do you want to have to run a raid to look a certain way? Is that the reason you want to run the fucking raid, or is it to get better loot? Like, I think the shaders should be tertiary.
I don't know. I think the like they did shaders in the first game for like doing the raid. It just showed.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah,
that felt rewarding. Well, now it's like you get them and it feels like shitty because then you're like, well, either waste these or just hang on to them forever.
That's the problem is that they are consumable.
It stresses me out every time I get cool shaders now. It fucking stresses me out because I'm like, I don't know what to do with these. I don't know if I should use them or just save them forever. The only safe bet is ships, ghosts, and sparrows to use them on, which is cool because it looks awesome, but everything else is like impermanent. So that's a bad system. Sorry, go ahead.
No, yeah, Cheyenne, what do you think?
Which one?
Yeah, you gotta pick
one of you. The one with orange hair.
Okay. I didn't play Destiny 1, so I don't have a lot of not super invested in this, I guess, because it's not like a change from a system that I already knew. I think that the way that they handled it was definitely not necessarily the best way. I think if they were consumable but still permanent or whatever. Sorry. Yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about.
Those are at odds.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, no. So I really don't have an opinion. I think that I'm like not super far into Destiny. We'll talk about that later, but I think I'll just always look ridiculous in the game. And I'm gonna go with that instead of trying to make a pretty character.
What I wouldn't hate is if they like when they drop they give you 5, which is enough to deck out 1 armor set once. If they gave you like 10 or something like that, and
yeah, just double the amount. And this might be bad info, but I actually heard that through the grapevine of like Reddit people discussing this, they had mentioned it to someone in the dev team, and they said we're working on something. What that means, I don't know. Maybe they'll add a glimmer vendor, which would be cool. But
I wouldn't be surprised if shaders became like, you know how when you get an exotic item, you can like the exotic might be like level 150, but then when you don't want that forever. You want it when you get the 250. That item's worthless, but you can go in your collection and get it back. And you have to pay like legendary shards or whatever. I wouldn't be surprised if they're like they made shader shards or something like that, and you had to go. And that's how you like after you got a certain one, you have it unlocked forever, and you can constantly go back and get it. But like that, I wouldn't be surprised.
They should call them paint chips.
Because right now, like, shut the fuck up. Because right now, like, it disincentivizes you, I feel like, because the way they work on the Eververse, because it is just RNG, like, loot boxes, like, it disincentivizes, because, like, there's so many shaders, like, what are the odds you're actually going to get it? Yeah. I don't know.
I'd be much more incentivized to pay money if I got something permanent that I could throw on my character, at any time.
I also
rather
wouldn't be
than-
surprised if they did that. Like the Eververse ones are the permanent ones, and like random ones drop.
Oh, if they'd fucking have me by the
I
balls
wouldn't-
then.
I would.
Oh
I wouldn't
man.
be surprised by that.
Oh, that would be so bad. Please don't do
I
that.
also wouldn't be
Don't do
surprised.
that.
Yeah. Cheyenne Clark, do you have anything to add about this? You too
I'm-
didn't play Destiny 1, so like I don't know.
No, yeah, I didn't play Destiny 1, so I obviously don't feel those changes as much, but it's also like, just let me look good, please. Don't make me like, the way that Luke Smith was talking about it, he was like, we want you to have to go back and do a whole bunch of raids and stuff so that you can get the shaders that you want. And it's like, I mean, why not just give them to me so I don't have to keep redoing the things? It kind of reminds me of when David was playing WoW, and like he'd be like, I have to go run this raid like 60 times because this specific item I want has like a 1% chance of dropping.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
Yeah, it would be like
that's ridiculous.
and that's
Artificial
another thing. It's like you get so like you have your cool armor. You do the raid with your friends. That's like a cool moment. You get the like red raid shader that says you did the raid. That's awesome. But then like another 2 hours later, you get a helmet now that's really cool that you want to use.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, what are we gonna run the raid again? Like,
Exactly.
like that was a moment for us, like where we and you just kind of like, yeah, you gotta fuck it up. I don't know. This next story is about South Park: The Fractured But Whole, and the way it deals with difficulty and your gender in the game. So in the first game, no one's played the first game with me, right? I think I'm the only
Not
one.
gender,
It's
ethnicity.
No, it's both.
And
Is it?
oh, is it both?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Cool.
They like kind of retcon the way that gender works.
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
So in the first game you can only play as a little. You can play as a. I about to little boy, and I was like, that's a little weird.
Ugh.
You can only play as a boy because like there was like it like narratively made sense because like
Yeah.
girls were like an enemy type and stuff like that. It was like
It's fucking funny.
so in this game they do also let you play as a girl, but the bigger thing was during the character creation screen of the game. The higher difficulty you pick in the game, the darker your skin color then becomes. And as that is happening, Cartman, who was like the guy in South Park who kind of he's the like antithesis of like, I don't know, like PC culture kind of thing, I guess is what I would say. He says don't worry, this doesn't affect combat at all, just every other aspect of your whole life. Meaning that in the game itself you get less money for doing the same thing that it would be if you were a lighter skin color. You people talk to you differently. You get different like quests, or not quests, but interactions with people. All of which is not a thinly veiled, a very real social commentary on how racism works in America. And then also at the beginning of the game you meet with Mr. Mackey, who's like the okay guy. Like if you're not familiar with, he has a little puppet guy. He talks to you about your gender, and that's when you get to pick your gender in the game. So they retcon it. You are still the same kid from the first game, but like you can be like, I'm a female, and he's like, are you sure? And yeah, and then you become like transgender.
Like calls your mom, right? He's like,
yeah,
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We just didn't realize.
So that's how that all works.
I think that's funny.
Works in the game. And I think that's awesome. South Park's coming out in October. It is by far my most anticipated game for the rest of the year.
Really?
Yeah, by far, not even remotely close.
That comes with the Stick of Truth, right? They said that it would come with it.
Yeah, I think it does. I think if you like pre-order it or something like that.
I am
And
going to do that and then play that.
The Stick of
finally.
Truth is absolutely fantastic. Also,
That's what you've said.
There's
I'm
nothing-
excited.
Like it's like a perfect. It is the RPG that I love because it is like 15 hours. It is not.
Is it timely? Like, am I gonna get the references? Is it like
yeah, it's not like because it's a video game. Like the way the South Park works, the show is like they turn it in like literally 2 hours before it goes on air.
Yeah,
Like, and so like the jokes are like as up to minute as possible.
Right.
Whereas in the game, like games take longer to make. Obviously,
they're more
So-
like timeless.
yeah, they're more timeless things. Like, and there's a lot of jokes about game culture in the thing, and just
Okay.
how stupid things are in games that we just take for granted. Like, just stupid like narrative tropes that games fall into that they make fun of. It's fantastic. I don't know about you, Cheyennes, I guess. Do you guys care about South Park at all, or how do you feel, or what?
I don't know if I care about it. I always hated it as a kid. Like, I don't know, people in high school are annoying about this kind of show, but I recently, like, we saw what's the musical called?
Book of
David?
Mormon.
Book of
Yeah,
Mormon.
the Book of Mormon. We
forgot.
saw that, and that like kind of made me love Matt and Trey a lot. So I definitely I love the idea of like your difficulty mode is your skin color. Like
Yeah,
that's really funny. People are like getting upset about it.
Mission accomplished.
yeah.
Yeah, I know.
How do you
So.
feel? Do you gonna play South Park at all? Or?
I might. I agree with Cheyenne. I didn't like the show. I don't like the show. I don't watch the show.
Yeah.
Kids, young kids ruin everything, and this is
They
one of
do.
the things that they definitely ruin. I didn't even know that this first South Park game came out.
Yeah.
Didn't know it was a thing
Great.
Until like you and I started hanging out. I don't know if I'll go back and play the first one, but I mean, since you're gonna get it and I'll have access to it, I'll probably play it. At least start it, and if it keeps my attention, I'll definitely.
The cool thing about the first one was they nail so much about like game culture and stuff like that with the like. So the first one, the thing is like you're it's like a wizard kind of, not Middle Earth, but like kind of, you know what I'm
High
saying,
fantasy.
like high fantasy kind of setting. And then this one is all about like fucking your superheroes and stuff like that. And they're all like, while you're doing the superhero stuff too, they're making fun of like the way superhero movies work and stuff. It's just, oh, I'm so excited for this one. And the first one's like a turn-based game, and this one's like grid-based. Oh, it looks so good. It looks so good. Yeah, all right.
I'm not that into like action, like superhero stuff, so I wonder if it'll.
Well,
appeal
I
that much.
think that's great. That's even better because you'll like the jokes they make.
I like that they're
Yes.
making fun of that
Yeah,
whole
yeah,
fucking
yeah.
universe. All right, I'm fine with that.
I definitely don't think that the game is going to take itself that seriously as
Oh,
a
no.
superhero game, so I think
Not at
that
all.
you could get away with playing it and not liking superheroes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure
Okay.
there might
Good
be
point.
a few things. I don't know. It's interesting.
Ben shared.
Um,
Good boys.
Yeah. So
Good
this story is about the FTC. We're getting real political, real serious on this show, and they're I guess is it a lawsuit or case against
This is still going
A
on?
fine.
or
Right?
fine, whatever. Against two YouTubers named Trevor Martin, I guess.
T.
And,
Martin, like his last name.
Tom,
Martin.
oh yeah, I'm dumb.
Yeah.
Thomas Pro Syndicate Castle, both of whom had this website called CS:GO Lotto, in which you could randomly like roll to try to get CS:GO loot and stuff like that. And basically, they had this website, and they were like filtering people on their YouTube channels, promoting it, saying, "Hey, this website's really cool," but not really telling anybody.
You literally said in one of his videos, "I just found this cool website."
Yeah, it's really.
He runs the fucking
Yeah.
website. He runs it. He uses real money to gamble with, and he's marketing it to children on YouTube.
Yeah.
What a trash man this boy is.
David, you have some thoughts, I guess.
I'm fucking mad. The FTC said here, the goal of the FTC isn't to be punitive or draconian agency. We are here to educate consumers about new markets. What does that fucking mean? This guy was literally marketing gambling to children. And you were just like, it's fine. He lied to a bunch of kids on YouTube to try to get them to spend money on his fucking shady-ass site that probably has terrible odds. It's fine. But, like, this shit wouldn't have like flown if this was like cable television or something. It's literally just because they don't understand this like really niche economy and this really niche kind of culture around like gambling and CS:GO crates and stuff. It probably just seems like a fucking game to them, and they're just not taking it seriously like they should be. It's so stupid.
Here is my criticism of that, and like, so you were 100% all in on the gambling thing.
Yes, it is fucking gambling.
All right.
Yes.
So then, is buying a pack of Magic cards gambling?
In a way, I mean, the fact is that like Magic cards, yes, they can be resold. Like I could open a $4 pack of Magic cards and make $80 fucking right there. Like it is gambling, and yes, like there are laws in like certain countries, like Japan, you cannot have like loot crates. Everything has to be right up front. Like this is what you are going to get. China just passed that legislation that's like you have to show the odds of every single like online gambling crate or otherwise up front. You have to show the odds. So yeah, that is a form of gambling. It's just not the way that we see it and how easy it is to kind of open a CS:GO loot box. I literally made $80 in 1 second. I opened one of these. I had opened an $80 gun and I sold it on the market for $80 actual dollars. So it's so easy to like I don't know. Like, you can be like, well, they should use their own judgment, but like, these are impressionable kids, and yes, Magic
Well,
the
that's
Gathering.
what I'm saying. Like, there are impressionable kids. Like, Pokemon markets the kids. Like, are Pokemon cards gambling?
I don't know. That's a very interesting argument that I've not heard brought up before. But this is, I don't know. I'll have to chew on that one. Why don't you go to the Cheyennes for a minute?
All right,
I feel
the Cheyenne report. Let's
I feel like
yeah.
the Pokemon cards are physical, and if you give a kid some Pokemon cards, their immediate thought isn't like, I can make money off this.
Yeah.
So I think that
They're getting
argument is-
something. Like, the value of it is there. Like, you are paying for like $6 pack of cards. You were getting the amount of cards that you paid for. In this, it's like literally you get one item, and it could be worth 5 cents or it could be worth $2,000.
Like,
It's kind of a bigger.
the same thing is
like-
true about Pokemon cards. Like,
is
maybe
it
not
though?
to that variation, but like to some variation, it is like you could get a shitty pack of cards or a good pack of cards.
Maybe it has to do with the way that we see these economies and how, because gambling, you think like you're investing money into something that can have returns or not. Essentially, when you buy a pack of Pokemon cards, you're buying them to, I don't know, because then you could say, well, then you're buying the skins just to play the game with them. This isn't
Yeah.
necessarily to make money, but I don't know. I think that they should have come down way harder on this.
Like, I think the shitty part of this is that he didn't disclose that he owned this fucking website. Like, that's fucking the gross
Yeah.
part. Like,
Okay,
not,
yeah, let
Not
me-
that the website exists. Like, the overall gross part is that like he was like, oh, this website. Oh,
Yeah, the
and he just
website is
fucking
allowed
like,
to exist. I have no problem if you want to like throw your money at loot boxes. I guess I got too caught up on this gambling thing. It is, but like, that's not the problem. You're right. The problem is that he was being shady as fucking literally lying to people about it, which should be some sort of fraud. I think like that's kind of like shitty and
Yeah,
makes
it's
it
like
seem...
when shitty mobile game companies like pay YouTubers to be like, oh, play my game, but you can't do a let's play my game, but you can't be negative about it or tell anybody about like this deal we have right now.
What was the site that just did the they did the lottery advertisements in their like top games articles?
Oh, I don't know.
Was that Brash? That wasn't Brash.
Oh
right?
yeah, it was Brash. A bunch
It
of
was
sites have done
Brash.
that. Yeah, a bunch of sites
That's
have done
fucked
that.
up.
Yeah, where
Okay.
they yeah. And the way that works is like they don't even care. Those sites, it's a little different too. Is like they don't even care. They're not even trying to get you to promote their site. They're just trying to get you to make an article about their site so their SEO score goes up. So that way when somebody types in like online casino game into Google, their thing pops up first because more stories have been written about them.
Yes.
Is how that all works. But Cheyenne Clark, are you a big gambler? You go to the riverboat.
No. The riverboat. No, I've never been.
You're smoking
Gambling, right.
parliaments. Doing the slot machine. I feel like that's you.
You have gambled because I bought you $10 in Overwatch loot boxes for your birthday a couple years ago.
Alright, well, you gambled because it was
Last
your
year.
money.
Yeah, but you opened it.
years ago.
I
It
guess.
was 1
Yeah,
year ago.
2014 when
Couple years
Overwatch
ago.
was out.
Such an old game.
It came out a year ago.
Yeah,
Yes,
Whatever.
A year ago.
It did. I don't know. I'm also kind of caught up on the idea that these are like it's mostly kids, even though I remember that like you're supposed to be like over 13 to join, but like they
You're
obviously have
supposed
no
to
way
be.
of enforcing
Yeah, that's
that.
just you click a button. That's like
You're like,
Exactly.
I'm
it's like
So-
the IGN
27.
thing. It's like enter your birthday. Are you 18? It's
Yeah,
like, motherfucker.
exactly. So I
1802.
feel like there's a lot of kids that are like getting into some really weird stuff for kids to have to deal with, and I think I don't know. It's probably different from Pokemon cards because like, can you really make that much money off of like Pokemon cards, especially now that it's like not. Super
Well, maybe not
popular?
Pokemon cards, but there is some fad that's out there. Like Magic
Yeah.
cards were the better example, but like I went to
Yeah.
Pokemon because I wanted to target the youngest audience.
It-
But like I don't know. I feel like loot boxes in general. Yes, I don't hate like if some kind of regulation came out that says these are the percentages of something that's in this loot box. This
I
is
think
what-
that should be a thing. Yeah.
But loot boxes in general, I don't want to hate on because I number one am not the whale that buys them, and they pay
Yeah.
for all my DLC and maps and games. So like, go.
But they
keep going.
don't.
They do.
Not in
It's like a lot of
Destiny.
games. Yeah, Destiny. It's
Mhm.
bullshit. That's why I fucking railed about shaders for 20 minutes earlier.
Fuck them. Yeah, it's
Like
stupid.
it's stupid in Destiny. It's great in Overwatch. 'cause I
Not
don't
gonna
care.
pay for it in
It's
fucking
awesome
Shadow of
to
Mordor
watch.
either.
Yeah, Shadow of Mordor is shitty
Right.
too
Right.
because they have a season.
Get
pass.
fucked. The
It-
bigger
it's-
you are, the less you need to like try to get away with it. It's just like you just
that's
put
the
it
way
in.
I view these kind of things. Is like there's two ways you can make money on your game post release. You can charge me for content, or you can release that content for free to keep people coming, and then you can do microtransactions like this. And this way, obviously, is doing something because literally everyone is doing it, which is fine with me. I would
Yeah.
rather not pay for
Two-
map packs.
Good examples. 3, PUBG. Fine,
Titanfall.
I guess. GTA Online, Rocket League, they're doing
GTA
it right.
Online's not good.
Yeah.
No, GTA
It's
Online's
not?
terrible. GTA Online,
But
you can buy a car that's better than everybody else's car. Can't you?
No, there's a speed cap on the online. They got around that.
Like not, but like it takes less damage.
Oh,
and
yeah,
you can,
okay, yeah, sure. Yeah.
Like GTA is like kind of pay to win.
Kind of pay to win. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Rocket League and PUBG, I think, and yeah, Titanfall 2 were good.
Titanfall 2 was good. I'm trying to think of another one. I guess yeah, those are the good ones. I guess Overwatch we said.
Overwatch, yeah.
This last story we have here is about the Xbox One adding keyboard and mouse support. In certain games, it's going to be added, and it will also in those games in which it's added. Microsoft Mike Ibarra has already said that they will like segment the community, so it's not like you'll be playing like people with
Okay.
and like yeah,
That'd be
like,
That's good.
on the console. But again, I think this is an awesome not only development but like also awesome like it's just Microsoft knows they're down, so they have to just do everything to appeal to everybody as much as they can. And like this is what like everybody's like, oh, competition breeds more like cool stuff, and like this is why capitalism's great. Like this is an example of it working. Like to be fair, like like this like if Microsoft was in Sony's position, like Sony is now, they would not have keyboard and mouse support because like they don't need to. And this is cool. I don't know.
competition is good.
I would like to see keyboard and mouse support put on PS4 too.
Hell yeah! I mean, there is a peripheral, but it's like $100 or something.
Yeah.
And it only works for like some games that support it.
And it would honestly, I think it adds. There's another layer to this where it adds help for maybe people with disabilities and stuff like that that need special controllers and stuff.
Yeah.
Which sometimes I know games can view those things as like, oh, you're trying to cheat to win because you have something like so.
Yeah.
The only way that those underpowered PCs that they sell as boxes, like the Alienware and the Valve
Steam
box
boxes?
and all that shit, is for this kind of like phasing in slowly of PC conveniences into the big consoles that people already own. I don't think you can sell a PC gamer or a console gamer on a hybrid, but if you bring over a few of the conveniences until it's kind of halfway there kind of thing, that would be the way to do it.
And if this came, maybe we could start seeing games like Civilization and like FTL and stuff on console, which would be cool. Not that I necessarily want to play Civ on console, but like it would be cool.
I fucking would. That'd be great.
I would.
On my couch.
I don't know.
Sure.
How do you guys feel? Do you guys?
I mean, my big concern at first was like, oh no, I'm gonna play Overwatch and people are gonna be. But like I don't play on Xbox, but like if I played on Xbox, like that would be my concern. But if they're not, if they're gonna be separate things, then by all means do it. Like that sounds really cool. I have no problems with people trying to use keyboard and mouse, and like you said, it opens up options for other kinds of games that wouldn't normally work with like a controller. So I definitely think that's cool.
Yeah, the Xbox is just gonna be a gateway drug to PC gaming.
Yeah, I mean that's another thing you have on too. Is like they're trying to get people into maybe Windows and stuff like that. So yeah. All right, that was the news for the week. We did good on that. Not too many news stories, but I think we talked about them. We talked about them very well. So now I'm gonna jump. We're gonna save what we've been playing until later because we're only gonna talk about 2 games. So like, and we've all been playing the same games. So we're gonna go to the which is better part of the show. And Cheyenne Clark, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to leave you out of this one probably because I don't think you've played these games.
Happens.
Which is better, Uncharted 2 or Uncharted 4? David.
Fuck. 2.
Cheyenne.
4.
2. It's fucking 2.
It's
But-
2.
Like, yes, but like for me personally, 4 is a much better game. The story was just like much more on par with like what I'm into. But Uncharted 2 it's like really good. I should go back and play them all. I say this every like once a month. I say this, and no, I'm gonna stick with 4 though.
Uncharted 2 has
You wanna?
what?
I was gonna say you want to see. Go ahead with your Uncharted 2 thing because I wanna.
Uncharted 2 has the best set pieces in the game.
Mm-hmm.
It introduces the best side character in Chloe.
Tenzin? Oh.
Yeah, Tenzin too. It has the only problem with Uncharted 2 is the main boss sucks.
Who was it again?
Lazarevich or whatever, where he's got the blue sap and shit like that. That shit was like stupid.
That was fucking awesome.
That shit was
so
real stupid. And
but
then the side, like the secondary boss, I can't remember his name, the Australian guy, he's on your team originally and then he double crosses you. Spoilers for Uncharted 2. But he's awesome. I can't think.
Oh
of his name.
yeah.
I don't know
Fuck,
his
that
name.
guy's-
I want to say Rafe, but that's the dude
Rafe
in
is the guy in
Uncharted 4.
Uncharted 4.
That's important.
Yeah. But
Yeah, that.
Uncharted 2 is without a doubt the best Uncharted game. Just
Okay.
the train alone. David, what were you gonna say though earlier?
Here's a crazy one. You ready for this?
Okay.
Uncharted 4 or Lost Legacy?
4.
I'm saying Lost Legacy.
But I would say had I
Swear to
played
God.
before.
I don't necessarily view them as like two wholly separate games.
4 is better.
Four has all the emotional pull in it that like the Lost Legacy doesn't necessarily have.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole sequence in the beginning of the game with Nate in his like attic really tugs at the heartstrings and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Lost Legacy is great, and we'll talk about that later. But yeah, no, Uncharted 4.
That's just my value system coming in that I much more appreciate unbridled, just explorative gameplay over like. I felt like Uncharted
know,
4
4
took a
had-
little too much agency from the player in some places.
It had like open parts like Madagascar and stuff like that in it, and I think it allowed you to approach things in a different way, like combat encounters in a different way, where you could have been stealth and stuff like that. But the thing about that is, like, I don't love the stealth in Uncharted games. Like, they did the stealth in The Last of Us, and it's fantastic. And in Uncharted, it doesn't really mesh well, I don't think. So that's my take.
Fair.
But that brings us to the next segment, which is current recommends. We're not going to recommend a game. I'm going to recommend this book by Jason Schreier. It's called Blood, Sweat, and Pixels. You should read it. It's really cool.
You're not
What is that?
I'm on the second chapter. It's he's talking about stories behind the development of Diablo 3, Destiny, Witcher 3, Halo Wars, Uncharted 4, Shovel Knight, Star Wars 1313, Pillars of Eternity, Dragon Quest Inquisition, and Stardew Valley.
What the fuck? I want to
It's
read
like-
that.
So it's basically like, you know that Mass Effect story that came out
Yeah,
like this year, where he talked about the development of Mass Effect Andromeda and
Yeah.
that Kotaku story. It's basically that, but like
With a bunch of different-
every chapter. is
yeah,
one of
but
those.
they focus on specific games. I'm only like halfway through the first chapter. I was reading it before class the other day, and I really like it. Jason's, I like his writing style.
Wow, Jason Schreier is a good boy. I'm gonna have to check this out.
Yep.
Fuck, I'll pick that up.
Well, that is cool. I
Word.
guess what we can talk about real quick, the predict the Metacritic, how that's going. So Knack 2 landed on a 71. David and Cheyenne are 6 points off that. I'm 7. Aaron's 8 points off that. And the Destiny 2 right now has an 87. I expect that
It'll change a lot.
Yeah, change a lot. But right now, David is 3 points off that. Cheyenne is 5. I'm 4. Aaron is 11. So Aaron's crossing his
What a
fingers.
fuck up.
That's going down a little bit. Yeah.
I'm in the lead as of
And
this
David
moment.
is in the lead by
Let
2
it be
points
known.
over Cheyenne and I. But that brings us to topic of the show, or whatever. Like, we're just gonna be talking about we all played Destiny a little bit, and we're gonna spoil Uncharted at the end. So yeah, let's start with Destiny. So Cheyenne, both of you didn't play the first one.
No.
And you're both you're both in Titan, or like right around Titan, right?
Yeah.
In the first one. So what are your initial thoughts? I want to go to you, and then I'll go to me and David, because we played the first one a bunch.
Okay.
So, Clark, what is your initial thoughts?
Well, I feel like you guys know by now that I don't really like. So when I first started it, and like all you're doing is just shooting at enemies for like 20 minutes, like I was doing that Titan mission night, and I don't know if it was because I was a little drunk or what, but it felt like it was taking 6 years just to get through that stupid mission, and it's just like shooting things after shooting things after shooting things.
Let me
It's
tell you
just,
something.
like, so boring.
You're never gonna like this game.
I know.
You're never gonna like it.
I know.
It's
I
not
just
gonna
feel
happen.
like it should be shorter. Like, I shouldn't be in this thing where there's like 60 enemies and I have
Okay,
to shoot all of them.
you know, like Diablo 3, right? You know how we play
Yeah.
Diablo 3 all the time, and it's just killing things and killing things and
Yeah,
killing
but
things.
you have like
It's
a
that.
lot of abilities that are fun and not just like gun.
Cheyenne,
You get stuff.
what do you
but-
think? Other Cheyenne, what do you think?
So yeah, I didn't play the first one. I played the beta for the second one when that was a thing. I don't really like first-person shooters all that much either. Although, like, I've sunk way too many hours into Overwatch, and I played Titanfall 2 when we played it, but I don't know how many hours I'll put into Destiny. I'm definitely gonna go back, play a little bit more. We'll see. I'm not sure yet.
So Cheyenne, you were playing that Titan mission by yourself last night. Do you think that affected like your enjoyment of it at all, or?
I mean, maybe if I had like my friends helping me out shooting things so that I don't have to. That sounds great. I don't know. I mean, it's not. I think it was just because it was taking me so long, and there were so many enemies every time I turn a corner. Like, here's another group of them.
You get your second fucking subclass, dude. There's so many enemies.
Oh my god.
And that fucking
I don't know.
mission.
I feel like I would have a lot more fun if there were more people with me, and it would feel more like a kind of team thing instead of just like, I have to shoot all these things so that I can finish the mission so that I can move on to another mission.
Yeah, this is definitely not a game that I'm going to be sitting down and playing by myself. Like, I can sit and play Overwatch for hours and hours and hours by myself with, like, nobody else. But this is definitely not something I can see myself jumping into on an afternoon when I'm alone. There are, I feel like, better games to play solo or actual just, like, not multiplayer games to play right now. So
cool. All right, and then for me and David going into it, so I'd say I'm like halfway through the story probably. You're a lot farther than I am. Am I about halfway?
Yeah, something like that. 40 or 50% probably. Yeah.
And then you're on the last mission of the story, and so
I just finished it before the podcast.
All right. Well, I don't want to do story spoilers like at all.
No.
But just from a base gameplay perspective and from a systems perspective, this is a complete upgrade over Destiny 1. Like, it's not even...
yes.
Just, like, this is, like, when people say quality of life, this is what they're talking about.
Yes.
Like, this is everything, like, imaginable that can be done. And it's so many little fixes, like, being able to go into menus while you're loading into worlds.
Yeah, that's fucking cool. No other game does things like
being able to go into worlds just from other worlds instead of having to go back to orbit. Like, I was listening to a podcast, they were talking about, they played Destiny for 1,000 hours. If you broke it down, like, how much of that time was spent going back to orbit? Like, think about it. It's got to be at least, like, 30 hours. Like, a whole, like,
total
day's worth of time spent going to orbit. And just stuff, and, like, the way gear works now, where you'll have gauntlets, like, in Destiny 1, you'd have gauntlets that were good for your hand cannon, but you'd have other gauntlets good for your assault rifle, and other gauntlets good for your scout rifle, where in this game, it's just, your gauntlets are good for your primary weapon. And it just
mods can fix that, even if you don't like that.
Yep, and it streamlines it so much more. And the way Destiny 1 worked, where you get a new pair of gauntlets, but then you have to level them up, which encourage you to stay with your old gauntlets. Because, like, maybe I don't want to spend that much time leveling these gauntlets up.
God, that was such a fucking dumb system.
Now, everything is just leveled up from beginning. Like, and it's so much... Yeah,
choose all your mods right away and pick your favorite, like, little settings on it, and you're good.
Exactly. But yeah, so your thoughts? I think you're saying me.
It's fantastic. It's a great game. I love it. I've enjoyed I literally could just patrol one planet for like the entire day and just run around and do events and like there's little dungeons, the lost sectors.
I think it feels a lot more open world than the last game did too, like in those sections too.
It's not even because the zones are bigger. It's just because there's so much more there to do, and there's so many more options for like leveling up your light and your gear. Like, you can do whatever you want. If you don't feel like doing this one thing or you get bored of it, go do something else. Go do Crucible. Go do a Strike. Patrols, adventures, challenges, and public events are all in the map. Like, they're all just there for you, and it tells you where they all are. The gameplay alone is so fantastic. I'm so glad that they kind of gave you more incentive to enjoy it, because they had such a good skeleton for a game. Yeah. And this does feel like a kind of half sequel. A lot of people are complaining that, like, it's a lot of the same enemies. It feels very similar,
it's literally
but
all the same enemies. I haven't run into a different enemy yet.
For how much it improved, I would say, coming from someone who didn't play a lot of Destiny 1, it definitely was worth the investment, I think, initially. To just experience the campaign is great. Not like amazing, but it's there, and it's a lot better than the first game. It's just really fun, and I can't wait. The only reason I'm not playing it right now is because we're doing this, so I'm definitely gonna hop back into it.
Nitpicks I would have is that in the map, or in the world, the map is terrible. Like, the map
I don't really agree.
I
think
awful.
It's fine.
I think it's actually awful. It's like, you open the map and it doesn't center on your character like every other map and every other.
Like a giant green arrow on the map.
Whatever. In the map, it doesn't tell you where your squad mates are.
That is stupid.
So you'll like, we were doing it today. You had a I wasn't level 20 yet, and you had a sparrow, and you're like, come to me. And I opened the map, and I didn't know where you were because don't show up on the map. And so I was like, what are you by? Like, and like, fucking, like, it's like a fucking Lewis and Clark.
That seems like an easy fix. Hopefully they'll
Louisiana
patch
territory
or something.
I mean, let's see. And then the other thing that bothers me with the map is that there, you'll like select. We're gonna do this adventure. You select it, and then it doesn't like select on mine. I have to like select it myself, and I can't find out where exactly we're going. Also, the thing that bothers me is the way squads work. And it was like this in Destiny 1, so it's not like a change from Destiny 1 or anything like that. Like, you should be able to go into a planet with 6 people. And then...
Yeah.
And then when you get there, if you want to do a mission, like, maybe you gotta cut 3 of them or something like that, but you should be able to just patrol with 6 people.
I agree.
And last but not least is multiplayer. There needs to be a 6v6 mode.
Yeah, I hope that they add something like that.
I wouldn't be surprised if they added a new mode or something like that later on.
Right.
But like 4v4 is fun, but it is super team. Like, you have to like, that is your focus. So whereas 6v6, you can kind of just fuck around. I felt like,
right,
at least. And like, yeah. Because like the time to kill in this game is a lot longer. So
yeah, which I actually like that.
I like that too.
Less like a who melee who first. It's
but
not
yeah,
like,
but it encourages you to like do 2v1s and stuff like that, and like focus your fire, which then makes you have to have more teamwork, which then kind of takes the fun out of the Crucible for me, where Crucible, like, in Destiny 1 was just, like, fucking around. And, like,
right, it feels a lot more, like, really you gotta, like, coordinate.
It's MLG.
You're just gonna
like,
get fucked up. Like, right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
I'm excited to see how the strikes work, though.
I'm excited to do the strikes. We'll talk about the strikes and maybe do story spoilers next week. I don't know.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about the strikes, and we'll have the raid open next week. I doubt we do it. But
yeah, probably not until a couple weeks from now.
Yeah.
Everybody will be geared up and stuff.
We'll see how that goes. We'll talk about it more next week. But the last thing I want to talk about in the podcast is Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. We are going to do full spoilers on this. We talked about it a little bit last week, but if you don't want to get it spoiled for you, all 6 of our listeners, please turn off the podcast.
Hey, you guys go ahead. I have to pee so bad I can't even think straight. So go ahead and start your segment, and I'll be right back.
All right, that's fine. So yeah, I guess we'll just start with Cheyenne Clark. What did you think of Lost Legacy? This is your first Uncharted game you ever played, right?
It is.
You watched, I know, a lot of 4, but this is the first one you've done hands on.
Yeah, it's the first one I've actually played myself. I absolutely loved it. It seemed like, obviously I didn't play Uncharted, but it seemed like it had a lot of like the good things from Uncharted 4 just kind of like compacted into one little thing. Like that whole, open world kind of area where you're just kind of driving around, like going to the different ruins, like, and then you end up at the big area. Like I really liked all of that, where you just kind of like roam around and Chloe and Nadine just kind of chill and talk. I absolutely loved them. I remember David was like saying something about how they didn't have good chemistry or something. Like he heard someone say they don't have a fleshed out relationship, but I definitely did not get that at all. Like it seemed like they had like a really like intimate kind of relationship that they developed over time, and I thought it was done really well. And obviously I appreciate that there's like female protagonists in these kind of like adventure games. So I absolutely loved it. I don't know how it compares to other Uncharted games, but as a game itself, I really had fun with it.
All right, Cheyenne, what did you overall?
You want me to talk for an hour? I feel like I could talk about this game for so long. I loved it too. I thought it was great. I'm like so invested in the Uncharted games. I mean, I liked the first one. The second one's great. The third one's not as good as 2. The fourth one's obviously, like I said earlier, amazing. It was my game of the year last year. Granted, I didn't play that many games, but it's still like amazing. So this one I was really excited about. I heard before I was able to play it, I mean, I started it the night that it came out, didn't I? I can't remember. The day it came out, I was playing it. So, but I heard a couple people saying like it wasn't that good, or that it felt like the middle of an Uncharted game, which I kind of get, because you don't have the beginning, the setup for the story as much. You don't have Chloe finding a buyer for the tusk, or getting the like assignment, even though she's like a freelance thief, I guess. But yeah, I love this game, and it's definitely worth the $40 because it's an hour shorter than the first Uncharted game. Like Uncharted 4 was pretty long. It could have been shorter, but the first game's only the main storyline's only 7 or 8 hours, 8.5 hours, and then the Lost Legacy's around there, 7 to 8 hours. So I agree with Cheyenne though. I love women. I love women being protagonists. This game also gave me a lot of what you don't get in the Tomb Raider games, which is like a relationship or the characters aren't. I love Lara Croft. I always have. These are definitely my kind of games, but you don't get the relationship between Chloe and Nadine in like a Tomb Raider game where it's just Lara Croft. So I like women and I like friendship. So that's where
you'd love Paul.
Fuck off.
That was a Big Brother joke.
I get it. I got
Shout
it.
out Aaron.
Is he dead?
Yeah, he's dead. He died right after the phone call. David, what did you think?
Fantastic game. I didn't expect to like it that much. I thought, and yeah, like I said, I'd heard from a few other podcasts and people kind of talking about the game, so that Nadine and Chloe's relationship didn't feel very organic. It felt kind of just like tertiary to the story, and it didn't really make much sense. I disagree completely with that. I don't know why everybody. It feels like they didn't play the game that I did, because their relationship starts off very professional, very kind of, they're taking shots at each other, kind of banting. And it becomes more than that. It becomes a mutual understanding between friends and their values of each other. And I really don't understand what more you could want out of two people who go into the story strictly not knowing each other that well, working together, and then kind of have this really dynamic relationship that completely does like a 180. And I loved it. I thought it was very heartfelt. A lot of the set pieces they felt a little rehashed. That's my only big complaint. The fucking obligatory train section and chase section.
The same as two.
True.
I was like, yeah, okay, this is Uncharted, but that's a minor complaint in the grand scheme of things. I think that, like I said, I enjoyed it. I think as a package more than 4, because 4 was very good, but I did not feel a strong urge to go back to it. I felt like it was a very like beginning to end kind of experience, and it was very cinematic and cool. But when I think about some of the chapters where you're just fucking walking around for like an hour, just talking to people, like in the prison and stuff, I'm like, I don't want to go back and have to do all that again just to get to the fun stuff of like, the big chases and all that. This is just like all of that I really enjoyed, concentrated into like a 8-hour, 9-hour experience, and I really liked it. I felt really compelled to get all those tokens in the open world section. I got them all immediately.
And you got the wristband or whatever?
I got the wristband, and I didn't expect to care that much. I was like, if they're collectibles, I don't fucking care. And I was like, no, I got to get all these right. And it was worth it, because I had a lot of fun, and they were very creative. Lengthened my gameplay experience, and game's fucking great. It's a great game. It's a great experience. I could totally see myself going back and playing this again, which I can't say about the other Uncharted's, because this is so just beginning to end fun to play, and it's gorgeous. Like some of the best graphics I've ever seen. The moment that you walk out and you see that big waterfall shrine was just breathtaking. I just stood there for a minute. I was like, wow, I don't get blown away by graphics that much, but that was fucking cool looking. Honestly, the design is very good in this game too.
Yeah, I agree with you on the coins and the bracelet stuff. That stuff is like, in 4 Uncharted games, they couldn't figure out how to make the treasures not annoying to find without a guide, and like they finally figured out in this game, and I thought that was fantastic. I thought a lot of the set pieces were great. I thought so none of this has been spoiled so far, really, but the elephant part was like my favorite part, where you
when you
kind of like mend your relationship with Nadine, like with the elephant part. I thought that was really awesome, but I'll go against all you guys. Nadine's not that great. Nadine kind of sucked the first half of the game.
She's
until
like,
Sam showed up, Nadine sucked.
I mean,
like, that's what happened.
She's supposed to be like a professional character. Like, they don't have that big of a relationship. What do you expect a mercenary to be like?
Like Chloe had personality, at least when they weren't friends. Nadine was just like, I looked it up on Wikipedia.
Chloe's like all personality.
Nadine's fucking funny. You suck.
Nadine is funny.
I don't think it was more. I think it was more like a joke than like. I looked it up on Wikipedia. I'm not. I don't know. It didn't feel like a joke.
I thought she was really cute and like.
Joke.
Yeah, she's just kind of distant. That's just how her character is.
And like,
written.
she was obsessed. She was obsessed with getting Shoreline back. I'm like, motherfucker, this is stupid. Like, I don't care about your fucking like. Your whole plot, like, dynamic and character, like, your character arc is like dumb. Your motivations are dumb.
Nah, you're fucking
Nadine
out of
sucked for the first
Nah.
half.
I
Then
love her.
when Sam comes, you get their banter, which is funny.
Yeah.
here. Yes.
But
That's good.
like, and she like Sam is like the more like not hardcore because Chloe's not hardcore, but he's the more like laid back and stuff. And Nadine's contrast with that I thought was really funny, and like that added some good moments. But like her contrast with Chloe was Nadine wasn't great. Chloe was awesome. The moment where like her dad like gives the little coin or the little what was it? The he has the little
Ganesh.
thing. Is
Was
it
it
Ganesh?
I don't
No,
know.
it wasn't. Oh fuck. The little like medallion thing she has that the little girl tries to steal from her in the beginning. And then she goes to that
Ganesh?
one. Is it Ganesh?
I think so.
All right, whatever.
Yeah, I think so. It's the elephant.
She then puts it on the little tomb thing like in the room. And, like my dad's been here before. Like that was like a great
Yeah,
moment.
that was a really good moment.
Like I said, the
I
elephant
expected you to find her dad's body in there.
stuff. That would have been
I swear to
awesome.
God, I was like, he's gonna be dead in here somewhere.
That
Oh,
would have
so
been
glad
awesome. Also, I thought the villain wasn't that great. I thought what was his
No, he was very just cartoon Saturday
What was
morning
his
cartoon
name?
villain.
Oh man.
Assad,
Assad, yeah. I didn't think the game was bad. I thought the obviously the elephant moment was my favorite part in like it is up there. It's not as good as the dinner scene in Uncharted 4 where he's got
No,
the pirates. It's not
The
that good,
elephant
but
was like that's like
elephant was
Naughty
great.
Dog's secret weapon for like
Fluff.
false emotional
Oh,
drama.
it was so good. I
Big
loved it.
animals, like
They
the fucking
won.
giraffes. They just know they can do it.
Oh,
so
the
they do.
just don't spoil that. It's so fucking.
I was really upset that the elephants didn't pop back up in the game because once you get on the train, you hear them, and my immediate reaction was, "Oh shit, gotta turn around. The elephants are gonna save me." Not a thing that happened. Real
They were
bummed about
standing
that.
there.
They were
on
there.
the, by the tree.
You could see them, but they didn't save me. I couldn't jump on them. I was really disappointed. I'm glad that they stayed out of the line of
It's
fire,
gonna be
though.
like Far Cry 4 where you ride on elephants.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like I like the game. Don't get me wrong, but Nadine wasn't that great.
I like Nadine in the fourth game though.
She
I didn't
was-
think that she was that bad.
She was cool in the fourth game because like she was this badass, but in this game like she's like a
still
badass without an army, and like she's all obsessed with getting her
She
army
is
back.
her own army.
I'm
It's
like, this is
great.
trash, dude. Like, get the fuck away. And the stealth in this game, like I said, the stealth the first one sucked.
It definitely
Yeah.
feels like it was built as a DLC for Uncharted 4, and I think a lot of people are like, well, it feels like Uncharted 4. Like, fucking duh, it feels
Yeah.
like Uncharted 4,
Yeah.
and they used the base of Uncharted
Yeah,
4
it
to
is
make
Uncharted
this
4, yeah.
game. So, like, I don't understand that as a complaint because it took them a year to make. We got Uncharted 4 last year.
Right.
Like, it's gonna feel the same.
But yeah, I would be cool with this too if we got to explore more characters in the Uncharted universe too. Like if there was like a Sam and Sully game, or
You miss me with that shit, I don't need any more
what-
Sam.
or whatever.
Sam's great. I love
Sam
him.
was great. in it.
Sam's like an okay character. He's overstayed his welcome in Uncharted
He
4.
overstayed his welcome in Uncharted 4, but this one he didn't get a chance to.
I
He
want-
only came halfway through
I want a Cassie game, and whoever
Yeah,
the
that
fuck they
could-
want to pair
later
her
on.
up with,
later on.
and then I want more Chloe and Nadine. They set it up
Yeah.
at the very end of the game, being like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna take this like
Mhm.
thieving business a little bit more seriously. What do you say, partner?"
No, I'd be like, no, you're not cut out.
The
for
end
this.
of Uncharted 4 was like, hey, sweetie, let me me and your mom tell you about the time we murdered thousands of men to get some fucking treasure.
Yeah, remember that?
Why don't you do that
It's
too?
cute.
Go kill some
Yeah.
people.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's great.
would-
What?
Family fun.
How do they
Right.
fucking like internalize that? Like the Drake.
I don't know. That's my biggest problem with this series. That you fucking kill so many people in this game. It's fun, but like, fuck, it's like,
That
if
has
you want
no
to sell it so
psychological
straight,
repercussions.
oh, it's like
It's-
kind of
it's-
weird. I don't like it.
Yeah, it is funny. I was also glad they stayed away from the supernatural stuff in this one.
Yes.
Also,
Yeah, there was no fucking
there,
dumb zombie
all right,
shit.
so there's the part. It's the puzzle. It's like the last puzzle of the game, like last puzzle, where you're in that room with Assad.
Oh my god.
And you have to do the like turning thing.
Am I just stupid?
No,
Did
yeah,
I?
you're stupid.
I
It was
took
very
fucking
easy.
forever
It
on
was
that. I don't
so
know why.
easy, yeah.
I was like, I don't know how to
But-
do this.
But and I thought the puzzles in general were great, though. Like the ones where you're jumping on the things and like
Dude,
people
those-
hit you or whatever.
those
The
Those
are
were
shadow
great.
one was fucking hard though.
The shadow one was cool.
Yeah.
But so it's
Oh,
the
yeah.
one after the shadow one, basically, where you're in that room and they have
It
like
was-
Assad.
It was pre almost drowning.
Yeah, like right before where you're in that room where you almost drowned, and then you're
The one I see.
you know what I'm saying? Like, and they have Sam
The
and
one where you have to like turn the shit.
yeah, they have Sam and Nadine like handcuffed, and they're like, you do it. So if you bump into a side, they're like, back away, don't try anything
Oh
funny.
yeah.
But if you do it, like, I accidentally did it like 3 times.
No,
If
you
do
did it twice.
I did it twice. And like, I recorded it, and you can watch my gameplay. I'll put it in right now. I don't know if I'm gonna do that. But I did it 3 times, and fucking, it's just all of a sudden he's like, "You think you can play games with me?" And she just shoots fucking Nadine in the head.
Oh my god!
It's fucking dark as fuck.
Fuck. I thought that ring in that room, you had to stick your head through it and it was going to decapitate someone. I swear to God, I was like, they're going to have to sacrifice somebody.
No, I just thought the axe was gonna come down on you.
I never was in fear.
opened
In
it.
4, I was in fear that they might kill somebody because it was like the last one in the series. And they're not killing somebody off in like a side game.
No, but I
That
thought
would be
like
a
they
plan.
got to get out of this one.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what it looked like.
It was interesting. I liked the game. I don't want to seem too negative, but Nadine wasn't great for the first half of the game.
I love
She
Nadine.
was
I
the biggest
disagree.
problem.
But I think that speaks well to like good character development.
No.
Yeah, no,
You
I
think she's a
definitely
bad
think that there's
character? Or you just
Yes.
not like her?
Her motivation sucked.
But that's her like her life. Like that's
Alright, her
company.
life sucks. She's a bad person.
Well, you. I mean.
She wants to fuck her. Yeah, and she's like, I empathize with the person who wants to lead a fucking militia. Yeah, you're great.
At least she's
Fuck,
not.
suck my dick. Like, she fucking sucks.
I loved her. I loved her in this.
Yeah.
Like her in Uncharted 4 at the very end of Uncharted 4 where they're like fighting and she's like, "What the fuck is going on? Like, fuck you guys!" And she just like leaves.
Yeah, that part was cool.
I loved that.
And then
part.
that should have been her cue to be like, why am I doing any of this?
Money, capitalism is a disease.
Whatever.
Why did she stop trying to kill them? I don't even fucking remember her. Like, she was hired by that guy.
Yeah,
Right.
Raph hired her,
Hunt
and then she
down-
was like, I don't know if we should do this, and he just bought her whole army. That's basically what happened.
Okay,
In Uncharted 4.
gotcha.
And I thought the beginning, the escape sequence and stuff was very reminiscent of the prison escape in Uncharted 4. At the very beginning of Lost Legacy, when you're running away from him at the end, when you get
You smash out the window.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool too.
I like the
I like
beginning.
that.
Yeah.
The beginning of the game was really cute. The whole little sequence, and then they return to that.
Mhm.
Like Chloe keeps her
Mhm.
promise and brings pizza at the end of the game. If you
Yeah.
watch the post credits.
Yeah, the and
I
the
like
credits
the-
themselves like were really.
I was
cute
gonna
with the
say,
chibi art or
shout out to
whatever.
the credits. That's
I like
cute as
that.
fuck. I like that. Yeah, it was really awesome.
Yep. All right, but yeah, that was our Uncharted Lost Legacy Spoilercast. This has been the Current Game Podcast, episode number 19. My name's Charles Blade. You can find me on Twitter at CharlesTilla. David, or no, I do Cheyenne first. Cheyenne, I think I'll order I did because I usually do Aaron right after me, but Cheyenne, they can find you on Twitter where?
Silver Foxhole, one word.
Not. Oh my God, it wasn't
Oh,
you.
it wasn't
you.
me?
You were the
I
guest.
didn't know which one
You
you
were
were
at
talking
the.
about.
You
were
have
at
to
the
explain.
end.
You really have to.
You have to explain.
Yeah.
There are 2 Cheyennes in this podcast right now. You have to be a little bit more specific.
You're at the end. Cheyenne Clark, where can we find you on Twitter?
I'm on Twitter at Hoopflowers.
And your cat was taken off Twitter, unfortunately, because of the alt-right. And then you're David. Where can we find you?
My guy Dave on Twitter and the _Morg on Instagram.
Cool. We'll see you guys next week, and bye.